face for just being a cop. That's part of the job. I haven't, because I always thought that nobody I ever arrested had a pot to piss in. So,
But okay, my mistake, guys, and I'm sorry. For some reason, it did not go live right away on YouTube. I don't know why. It's a new system we're using. I apologize to you YouTube watchers. I'm very sorry. To catch you up just real fast, this is Camiel. This is John. I'm Ronnie. Warning, this show is not for children. And if you're easily offended by cursing and or alcohol consumption, yeah, you want to tune in. And we are doing a news moment, which is something brand new to our podcast. And we're talking about in New York, the legislature has asked that a law be passed or a bill be passed where law enforcement can sue protesters who have, in fact, injured, harassed, or caused issues with officers that are trying to keep the peace.
Yeah,
sorry to recap there.
And once again, it's not verbal, because that's a First Amendment, but actually physically
it does
attacking.
say something about harassing. So I don't know
harassment.
I don't know how they define it, because it could be the aggressive protesting and things like that. Like if they go to the officer's house,
right,
and things like that.
Yeah, but if there's an officer on a line standing there, they have a right to,
yes,
talk to them, yell at, scream at them. That's not what this addresses. It's addressing the physical attacking of an officer. I know a lot of officers had issues with vision because of lasers being pointed, the fireworks or mini explosives, if you will, if you see some of the videos. But we were talking about, I never even thought about filing lawsuit, because I just never thought that it
was issue, though. One of the reasons that there's a lot of blowback against this is they're upset that it's making police a protected class, which
officers can be victims too, though.
Exactly, but the argument is they're getting a special right because of their job.
I don't see it that way, because
but
a civilian can sue law enforcement.
Absolutely.
Well, and the civilian could sue another civilian if they got injured by that civilian.
So why cannot
class action, but a civil suit against that person?
So why couldn't a law enforcement officer sue an individual for injuries, things like that?
So I think they absolutely should be able to.
Yeah,
I totally agree. I think they should.
So we'll see how that goes. For those, onto my next topic or news. So those who are not necessarily in law enforcement, you may not know about this, but there's it's a website. It's called the Officer Down Memorial Page, and it tracks line of duty deaths throughout the years. And with COVID-19 being in the news lately, I brought up that there was an Orange County deputy and a Port Orange officer died today from COVID-19, and I was curious as to see how many have passed over the last couple of years of this. And so far this year, 92 officers have died in the United States from COVID-19, and 240 died last year.
So Sheriff Chipwood of Volusia County tweeted out that 300 officers had died from COVID. So he was probably just, but he was there in the ballpark.
Right, so adding the 2 years together.
Right.
And it's an interesting website. It really goes into a lot of things. It talks about crashes and being hit by car and stabbings. And what's interesting is if you look back, because this tracks since the beginning of the 1900s, and it tracks like officers getting hit by trains, and all kinds of weird things that we wouldn't think about.
Stagecoach,
right? Stagecoach, yeah.
Thanks. I got trampled by my horse. Thank you very much.
That was your first patrol vehicle.
Yeah, it was. So just to update everybody, we are going to ask for questions, comments. We will review those at the end of the show. Last week, I made a lot of interruptions, giving shout outs. I see the folks that are on here making comments. I will pop your name out, and please formulate any questions you have for us or stuff you'd like us to kind of talk about. And I will be going over those as soon as we go through our topics. All right. So we're good for news.
Yeah. Good.
So the moment that some of you have been waiting for, I don't think I've been waiting for it as much, but thanks, Curtis. But Sergeant Frosty was brought up on our last show, and I will let Camiel start off with Sergeant. Unfortunately, John wasn't there for this, but I will let Camiel start off with the Sergeant Frosty story from a officer on scene,
Viewpoint.
doing what he's doing, and then I'll give you my, because it's all about me, unfortunately, and it's kind of a gas. But all right, so go ahead.
So I'm sure every agency has a great story. It happens to be a story that I will probably remember till the day I die. It was a bright afternoon, and we had a bank robbery go out. I was a detective at the time, and bank robbery alarm, and all of a sudden, it was an actual bank robbery. It wasn't a false alarm or anything. And somebody said, all right, he's on the exit ramp to the interstate. So everybody's converging there. And as a police officer, you stage so that you have a good line of fire on the guy. And I pull my detective car up, I pull out my gun, and I'm covering him. And, cop cars are showing up, and whoever zone officer was, patrol is on the PA, and he's giving him orders, all right, hands up. And then
Doing a felony stop.
Doing a felony stop. He was on foot. There wasn't a vehicle, but it was a felony stop. So it's a beautiful scene. We're all doing the right thing. And then all of a sudden, the loudest squealing of brakes you can imagine in your entire life comes from behind.
Tires screeching.
And so you've got your gun out, and all of a sudden everybody's looking like this, like, are we going to get killed by whoever's coming up on us? And that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, okay, we got a bank robber, but I'm about to get squished. So all of a sudden, and I notice it's a police car. Well, somebody's late to the show. It happens. That's fine. The car did not stop in time before it hit another police car, and it was bam, right? And we're all just kind of like, what the? And our dearly beloved Ronnie is in the passenger seat, and he gets out of the car, and we had black uniforms on, and he was covered in some kind of brown liquid. And as he's getting out, cursing every word in the book, probably making up some, grabbing this brown liquid and sloughing it off of his uniform, just cussing his head off. And we're all like, what? And so we cuffed the guy, come to find out, not the guy who did the bank robbery. And the story, I'll let Ronnie pick up the story from there, because we don't know what's going on.
All right, so I'm training somebody, and I'm in the passenger seat. We're in a Crown Vic. For those of you in the job or we're on the job, Crown Vics they're battleships, okay? And these are the older ones. So we're in the car. We just went through the Wendy's drive-thru, and we finished eating, and the call goes out, and I had a Frosty. It was, yay big. And I just had popped the top off of it and maybe took like 2 spoonfuls out of it. And the call goes out. We've got him over here on the top of the bridge. We got him at gunpoint. And I'm like, go, 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 go. Now the Wendy's, you can see the Wendy's from the scene. I mean, it's literally 200 yards across, some woods and grass and another parking lot, and there's the Wendy's. But you have to go out and around and out this other exit and down and turn around. So I'm screaming at this freaking Wookie, yeah. Turn the goddamn, roll the window down, because I want to throw this damn Frosty out. Because, it's like all over. And now it's starting to melt and it's going all over. And he's not listening to me. This guy is tunnel vision like you have never seen. I've never seen it in my life, this guy's tunnel vision.
Thank God for window locks.
So and he had it locked too. And I'm pushing the button, trying to open the door. Well, every time I get ready to open the door, he's going around that kind of corner. And I'm like, I'm going to fly out of this car, even with the seatbelt on. So we get up, and at that point, I'm just holding on for dear life, and I'm holding on to this damn Frosty. He goes up and he spins around, and he's coming up on these cars, and I'm like, go, 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 go. I said, take up a position right behind Curtis's car. And he goes, I said, did you hear me? And he goes, I got it. And he's, of course, Crown Vic's slow as mud, but anyway, and I'm like, so I'm starting to, oh shit, I'm holding on, my feet are starting to hit the
passenger brake.
The passenger brake, and I'm holding on, and I'm like, all right, slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down, stop! And I screamed, stop, and he, all of a sudden, something kicked, and he hit the brakes, and we slid, and when we hit that car, that freaking Frosty, I mean, I squeezed it just out of reaction, and it went all the fuck over me. I mean, my uniform, it was all over the console, the dash. So as you can imagine, I've been known to have a little bit of a temper. I get out of the car, and I mean, I slammed it. I thought I blew the glass out of the car door when I slammed the door, because I saw that the guy was down and everything was cool. And I go out and I look at the front of my car. They at this point, they saw me get out. They saw the Frosty all over me. They ran up. They secured the guy. Everything was cool. I look at the front of my car, and I've got, okay, everybody knows Crown Vics have dual exhaust, okay? I had two perfectly shaped holes in the front bumper of my car from Curtis's dual exhaust on his Crown Vic that we just rear-ended and impacted. So the guy's like just standing there, and he's looking at me, and he's looking at the bad guy, looking at me, looking at the bad guy, and he goes, oh, what do you want me to do, Sarge? I said, just get the fuck out of my face and go direct traffic. Keep the traffic off of us.
On the interstate.
No, we were on Lake Marion Boulevard. And he's like, okay. And he goes back there, and I'm wiping it off. And of course, once we get the guy secured, and and everything's cool, it wasn't him. Got to show up. They couldn't ID him, said it wasn't him. So anyway, let him go. Excuse me. Then the laughing started. What in the hell is all over you? I'm like, a goddamn Frosty. So from then on, and here's the worst part of the story. After I make this rookie clean everything up in my car, and he wipes everything down, get everything clean, it was like,
wasn't it a newer car?
It was. It was like 2 or 3 years later, and I'm getting ready to get out of this car, and you know those little extendable lights they had on, and they had the little vent grills in them.
The night reporting light,
to the map reporting, I just so happened to turn that around. There was still Frosty in the grooves of that thing 2 or 3 years later. And so anyway, I'm Sergeant Frosty, and I've never lived that one down, but it wasn't my fault. It was goddamn rookie. So anyway, it's happened.
Whoever was training them, I think.
Yeah.
For those of you that have trained and you know about training people and some of the crazy things that happen when you're training people, I'm sure you can relate. But after it was all over, we kind of laughed about it, and
still do.
That guy ended up getting in trouble for some other crap and lying about a crash or something, and he got terminated and moved on and went to a small agency somewhere in North Florida, where he became the chief of police there, and they were threatening to indict him over quotas for tickets and stuff, and they fired him from there. Yeah, there's no quotas.
What?
So
that's why you tell them. When they say, don't you guys have quotas? Yep, 2 more and I get to set of steak knives.
Yeah, we used to say that, and we got in trouble for doing that.
Nope, I get to write as many as I want.
Yep, nope, Chief said I could write as many as I want to write. All right, so there's Sergeant Frosty. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. So anyway, that was my fun moment, or well, it wasn't fun at the time, but one of thousands of crazy moments in the 35 years I was on the job. So let's move from that to John, and he's going to go over something that he wanted to cover with us.
We were going to try and get to last week, and we didn't get a chance to discuss body cameras. And what I'm going to kind of do is just give an overview of some of the pros and cons of the body cameras. Overall,
we'll start with us being the first agency in our entire county, actually in Central Florida, to actually employ body cameras.
Yes, and
we were the first.
And I ended up on the news because of it. And ironically, one of my daughter's friends was like scared to death of me after that because she didn't realize I could be so mean as a police officer. But that was because I was arresting a guy who kind of ran from me, and he was drunk with 2 kids in the car.
Yeah.
And,
That'll tend to get your dander
well,
up.
and he
just a
kept
smidge.
ignoring me and refusing to comply and all that stuff. So anyway, so body cameras. Overall, I think they're a very positive thing for law enforcement.
I would agree.
However, one of the things is it's now almost a CSI effect in the fact that only what is on the camera people think actually happened. You got to keep in mind that camera is basically fixed, to whatever direction it is. You have chest worn cameras, you have eyeglass worn cameras, you have hat cameras, you have all sorts of different ways to mount these cameras.
Shoulder,
on shoulder,
everything. Yeah.
and it's only catching what that angle is showing you. But you got to keep in mind that a police officer has to be worried about everything. That's why we always say, keep your head on a swivel. That's why cops always say to each other, I got your 6, and I got your back. I can cover what's behind you. Well, the body camera doesn't see what's behind you. The body camera doesn't see over here. If the chest camera is here, they're not going to see that.
That's right.
So it won't be long until you'll have, your car now has 360-degree view. I foresee within 10 years.
They have them out
really.
already. Yeah, absolutely they do. Absolutely. Extremely expensive.
They go on your gun belt?
No, they have them on the car, and then you're linked to the car, so they follow you wherever you go, but at that 360-degree, they're great.
Well, that's great if you're in proximity of a car.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But that gets to one of the big downfalls of the body cameras is the enormous expense that they are. And it's not just the actual device.
Yeah, it's not just the hardware.
You've got to maintain, how many gigs or whatever. I'm not a tech guy, but the data that is saved by these cameras they're almost all digital. A lot of times you have 2 or 3 angles, like if you have the car camera going, so you have 2 or 3 angles in the car.
And they're 1080p.
They're 1080p, high definition, digital.
Plus the audio.
Okay. And we got to save all this forever. How many people needed to upgrade their computer because it didn't have enough memory?
All right. So LT, speaking of that, policy-wise, your agency.
I was in charge of that, actually.
So how long did you have to keep them?
If it was a non-evidentiary case,
right.
In other words, there wasn't an arrest made, a citation written, something like that, 90 days, they could go on an auto delete.
Okay.
And they were deleted. But if it was any type of arrest, citation, Baker Act, anything like that, where we had to put hands on someone or we took legal action,
right,
we kept them for 3 years.
3 years.
Or until the state attorney said you can get rid of them.
Okay.
We kept them for 3 years. Some of our big cases, the big felony drug cases, stuff like that, 7 years.
Okay, and you can set that.
We could. It was an auto deletion phase, and it would archive them for however long we set.
Okay.
Or you could say never delete, and then they would have to manually go in and delete them.
Okay.
The problem is, and furthermore on what he was saying, when I was with the agency, we were already up to a 10 terabyte server to hold all this stuff. We started off with like a 2 or 3 terabyte. We had 40 something cars and 40 something officers, 30 of which had body cameras. So we were double loading everything.
Right.
And the problem was you got out of your car, you had to turn the body camera on, and your car camera was running. So now you have 2 things.
So was your car camera activated with the
blue lights?
Blue lights.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
You can turn it on. You turn your lights on. It'll.
And what was the policy? Because I know there's other agencies that are really strict about when if you don't turn it on, your body camera.
When we first got them, it was more of a if it was a bad situation, something like that, you had to have it on. But as we went further and further and further, more lawsuits were pending, reference, whatever, not even lawsuits, just complaints.
Yeah.
It became anytime you made contact with someone in any type of law enforcement type deal, you had to turn them on.
Like even a flag down.
No, somebody stopping and asking for directions, you didn't have to turn them on.
Okay.
But anything basically other than that, yeah, you had to turn them on. So
which puts you in a habit, so it's good.
It was hours and hours. So anyway, when I left, we were up to a 7 or 8 terabyte server that was over half full. Okay. And that was just on stuff that was archived.
Right.
It was over half full, and then we're going to have to go to twice that. It's
well, I mean, it's
and the
doable because there are,
expense is
And this is only a fairly small 34-man department.
right.
imagine, Orange County Sheriff's Office
Right.
or Jacksonville. I mean,
Right.
it's,
Oh my God.
And those are the areas where they're saying defund the police.
Right.
How much of their budget is actually going towards this technology?
But as soon as you don't have a live video, a
Right.
body camera.
Oh, they're hiding it.
Oh, where's your body camera? Why don't we have a body camera?
Right.
Mhm.
Because you a-holes are the one that said defund the police.
Right.
Sorry, we don't have the fucking money to
First
run
thing
that
to
camera
go,
all the
body
time.
cameras.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but like in Seattle, when they're having all those protests, they weren't allowed to turn their body cameras on because they felt it would be infringing on the rights of the protesters.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. But yet they can stand right out there and do this with their cell phones
right.
right in your face.
Which I agree with. I have no
Yeah.
problem with. But,
Oh, I have a problem with it.
I have no problem
well,
with.
in your face.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. Right here.
Well, yeah. I mean, but if you're on a line,
No,
we
if you're
talked
back
about
here-
this. We talked about this last
Right.
week.
But if you're back here and you're filming me, no problem.
Yeah.
All day, no problem.
Yeah.
But they don't do that.
No,
all
of
the
course
time.
not. No,
They're right up here in your face.
they're right there. Yeah.
But then as one of the problems with body cameras is you end up, it's only what's on the camera.
Right.
The officers, whatever the officer says doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah,
No,
nothing else happened. It's
Right.
just what's on that.
That's
camera.
why I could conceive, just like the car, that there eventually will be 360 cameras on an officer.
Oh yeah, I just said we should just hire a videographer to run with us, just like cops.
Yeah.
Now, some of them. No, this is what I was going to ask. Do you guys prefer the chest mounted, the shoulder mounted? Because I've seen video with the chest mounted, and when they're like this, all you see is arms.
Yes, completely
Right.
blocked.
Right.
I think ideally it's a pain in the ass,
Mhm.
but I think ideally the best mount is on the glasses
Okay.
because everywhere your head turns, the camera turns.
At least the camera's going to see what you're seeing.
Motor officers wear it in a lot of the out west and all.
Mhm.
A lot of the motor officers wear them on there, and I've watched pursuits with motor officers, and you can see them checking the intersections when they're running code,
Right.
Lights and sirens, code 3. But I think that's the best
Okay.
situation. I think the next best is shoulder mount. I think chest mount is absolutely the worst
Okay.
because of just what you said. When you do this, you can't see shit.
All you see is arms.
You can't see nothing.
Right.
The problem with the shoulder mount, you walk up to a car, everything's right here, you're not seeing nothing.
Yeah, you see the top of a car.
You got
You got a short car. Yeah.
At least with it on your glasses, you would see some of it.
Right.
The chest picks up everything.
Yeah.
So there's advantages to every type situation. There really is. But I still think the one mounted on the glasses. The problem is, if you don't wear glasses, you have to wear the actual clear lenses.
Yeah.
You get out of a freezing cold car because you're sweating to death with the vest on. It's a humid night.
Right. All fogged up.
Yeah,
I never wore
and
glasses. I
it's
never wore
unsafe.
sunglasses. Never.
Him and I did, and it's
Yeah.
effing terrible, man.
Yeah.
You get out of the car, it's terrible.
Yeah.
I would have to stop for just a second, wait for my glasses to warm up, and keep wiping them off. Thank God I can see fairly decent without them back then.
Right.
Not so much now, but I could just take them off, put them in my pocket, and at least be able to see if there was a gun or a suspect,
Yeah.
or something like that.
Right.
All right, we really need to get moving.
Okay.
We good with that one?
Yeah, and all I'm going to say is if you have any other questions or comments on the body cameras, send it to us and
We'll address it.
we'll address it. We may
Absolutely.
bring it up again.
Absolutely.
Something we may have not thought of, because I think body cameras a lot of times help the officer.
Well, most of the time they do.
Right.
Oh,
No,
for
he-
sure.
oh, he
I
did
have no
this.
problem
No,
with them.
not so much.
Yeah.
The problem is just, part of it is the expense, but
Right.
the other thing is, it's still a piece of computer.
Yeah.
And
Well, it's like
It's
you
gonna malfunction.
mentioned the CSI effect. It's
Mhm.
like, oh, you have a murder. Oh, there's no DNA. Well,
Right.
he didn't do it. Well,
Right.
yeah. So
exactly.
By the way, somebody asked, and I'm just going to pop it in there. Somebody asked what we're drinking tonight. It was one of your relatives. We're
Imagine that.
We're drinking Horse Soldier. I got this for a retirement gift from Mr. Camiel, and it is absolutely fantastic.
It's,
All right.
it's amazing.
All right, Camiel. Oh, by the way, I don't know if y'all saw or not. This is the logo that I'm trying to get. I don't know if it's going to show up. There we go. Can you see the blue on the background? It's kind of hard.
That's what she said.
And the writing. Yeah, that's what she said. You can't see the writing.
Surviving the badge.
Yeah, it says surviving the badge with a line through it. Anyway, that's our logo. We're trying to get it printed in a nice, copy. So anyway. All right. So Camiel, you're up with your topic, sir. Go ahead.
So this topic, it actually was hit my mind a few weeks ago when you and I were sitting around, I don't know, here shooting a shit or whatever. We were talking about all the death we had seen. And until that night, I'm like, I hadn't thought about how many dead bodies I had seen. And we were sitting around, well, about this one. And I'm like, holy crap, I've seen a lot of death. You've seen a lot of death. You've seen a lot of death.
People were driving to the city to kill themselves when I was on call. I kid you not.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen 16-year-olds kill themselves. I've seen probably the worst thing I've ever seen in my entire life was when we had a case, he was in medical, and he had downloaded like thousands and thousands of images of child pornography. And then, like an idiot, well, no, do this, take it to the shop, and they found it on there, and they came to us, and we did executed a search warrant. And but you have to go through all of that. You have to see all that. You have to. I remember, and I don't think I'll ever forget it. I don't know if you were out at the scene or if it was your dad. Kid on his birthday got a car. 16 years old, got a car, wrecked it, didn't have a seatbelt on. His own car crushed him and killed him on his birthday. That's the kind of shit we see. So what do you do? What do you do about dealing with that? You go to work, you're like, hey, I'm going to have a great day. 2 hours in, you see some poor 16-year-old whose girlfriend broke up with him, and he runs a hose into the car, and he's dead, or he gets run over by his own car. How did we survive that? And you have somebody that hopefully we're going to have on soon that's going to talk about officer suicide. But what do we do? What did you guys do to just kind of, okay, that's something, I'm going to go back. You show up the next day.
Well,
yeah, I mean, and you go home and you deal with it.
Right.
And our family deals with it.
Yeah, right.
Because they deal with our, little mood swings and what's the matter, babe? You okay? Right. Oh yeah, I'm fine. Mm-hmm. I mean, I talk to my wife and my kids, the older kids, about it a little bit. If something was really bothering me, I didn't go into detail, but it's just a bad night. I'll be fine.
How do you go into that kind of detail?
But I challenge everybody, and most of the people that are watching are probably cops or ex-cops, but I challenge you that aren't in law enforcement. Go to a gruesome murder scene and see a 5-year-old child who has been beat to absolute death. Brain fluid coming out of their ear. Their melon just looking like it's been smashed. Something from the freaking Walking Dead or something. And then you got to live with that and come home and not talk about it because you don't want your kids to hear that kind of thing, that there's that kind of evil in the world. You don't want your wife to sit there and have bad dreams about it. So what do? I'll tell you what you do. You go to the bar, or you go to your buddy's house, or next shift, you go behind a building and you sit there and you bullshit about it and you talk about it. And sometimes you laugh about it, if it's something that's not that
it's funny.
It's a dark humor. It's a dark humor.
It is. It's a way to release that pressure from inside. And that's why, everybody says, oh, thin blue line, y'all lie for each other. No, what it is, and I'm going to get a little deep here, but it's a very, 35 years in this job. I have hugged cops. I have cried with cops. I have fallen to my knees and cried with cops when one of my best friends was dying on the side of the road from a motorcycle crash. I have been to funerals and I have hugged other cops and cried and everything else. And, that's what thin blue line is. me, thin blue line is I have your back no matter what. And I don't mean if you've committed a criminal offense. If you're a shitbag cop and you're committing crimes, screw you, you go to jail. I'm talking about I got your back if you need to go and you need a shoulder to cry on, or you need to release some of this, pressure that's up here and it's bothering you, and I'm always going to have your back. That's what it means. That's what that brotherhood means. And until you've walked one shift in a cop's shoes and seen the shit that they've seen, you don't know. You'll never know. You'll never ever know. The only people that will know are soldiers and law enforcement. Those are the only ones, guys. Those are the only ones.
Because firefighters.
Well, firefighters. I mean,
they staged.
Yeah, they staged to make sure it was
they
safe.
see their share of some gruesome shit too, but they're not there dealing with it like we are for hours afterwards and dealing with the families and everything else. And I'm not taking anything away from the fire service. I know you guys are just screwing around, but soldiers,
America's second responders.
So he said that. I mean, soldiers and law enforcement officers are the ones that are seeing the absolute worst of humanity and having to swallow that in and take it with them every night. I'm sorry.
No.
I got on a freaking rant there.
Because parents don't call cops and say, "Oh, look, little Johnny took steps." Parents called cop because, "Oh, my husband killed little Johnny."
Right.
That's what we get called.
When I was in the academy, I said, "You don't get called to be invited over for dinner."
No.
You only get called when there's a problem.
Yeah.
What do soldiers make a year? Just your average grunt soldier, 30,000, 35,000.
Something like
I mean,
that.
they're poverty level.
Your average grunt cop, 35, let's say average. Let's say 40 average.
Yeah.
Just average.
Right.
Because you got some little tiny agencies, some sheriff's departments that have 2 people
Right.
that maybe start out at, 30, 35, whatever. And then you got, some of your bigger agencies, NYPD, that probably start out at 50, 55, whatever. So let's average it out at 30, 35, 40 grand. 40 grand.
Yeah.
40 grand. And a soldier, 30 grand.
Yeah.
To see and do the shit that they've done.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, it's a calling. It is not just a job. It's a calling. And when I started this shit at 19 years old, I knew what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to be a law enforcement officer. My dad was one. My brother was one. I think my grandfather was, from what I remember my dad saying. He was a constable for a little bit in a small town for a little while. So it's a calling. It's not, I just want to go. It's a calling, Because after you've run code 3, blue lights and sirens and hauling ass, after you've done that, 10 or 20 times, it's like, okay, well, that's just, it's no big deal. Unless you're a firefighter. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
No, it's not.
My firefighter.
Gotta hang now. Oh,
Go great. So, John, what did you do?
I've internalized a hell of a lot.
And I think we all have. I've internalized it.
And, I try to share with my family what I can.
Right.
And not share with but one of the biggest things that we have to do is we have to be able to leave work at work.
Yeah.
But you have to, as far as I'm concerned, a stable family life is one of the most important things that will help you get through it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I mean, I'm proud to say that I've been with my wife since 1993. We've been married since 93.
I'm sorry. To her, I meant.
I know. But, I mean, it's hard.
Yeah.
But, I wasn't a police officer when we met. I wasn't even in the academy. I was actually a firefighter, volunteer.
Mm-hmm.
But we made it through, but that strong family bond and making sure that I could leave work at work and I could go home and do home stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't mix a lot of it.
Yeah, that family bond is definitely, that helped me.
For sure,
yeah.
man.
Plus a healthy habit outside of drinking, like fishing, golf.
Absolutely.
Something to not dwell on.
Who did you fish with?
I know.
Other cops.
I have one non-cop.
Right.
Yeah.
But he likes cops.
Right.
And he's pro cop. So,
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we deal with enough adversity on the job.
Right.
I don't need a friend, and I'm not saying they wouldn't be a good friend. I don't need a friend that is anti-cop, and I'm going to have to hear their shit all the time about what cops are doing wrong. I don't want to hear it.
Why did this cop do this? I don't know. I wasn't there.
I don't know. I wasn't there.
Well, and what other job can you think of where they find out, oh, wow, you're an insurance agent? Oh, my God. Let me tell you what this insurance agent did. Is that the right thing to do? He shouldn't have done that, should he?
Right. Exactly. I remember coming home. You worked this scene with me. The lady was dead 3 days and no AC in her house in August.
Was that over by the college?
Yeah.
Oh, and Curtis was the first one there, and he was humping his chest, dude. He was. He never threw up, but he was.
So
that was terrible.
So I get there and I would do my thing and I come home and my wife would always say, "Okay, go in the garage, take your clothes off there."
Yep.
Because that stuff just permeates the clothing, threw it in the wash, and yeah, that happened plenty of times.
Quick story about my dad. He was one of the local agencies. We're talking back in the 70s. All I remember is him coming home. I hear somebody beating on the door, and I hear him yelling, "Open the door! Open the door!" So my mom comes to the door. She goes, "What the hell are you doing? Just come in." "No, listen to me closely." And she goes, "Oh my God, what's that fucking smell?" And she's inside and he's outside, and there's a screen door between them. And I mean, he's like 10 foot beyond the door, because by that time I come up from behind my mom, I was like 10 years old. I'm like, ew, what's that smell? He goes, "Get a box and the lighter fluid. Meet me in the backyard." And I'm like, what the hell's going on? "So I got it, Mom." So I run and get a box, get the lighter fluid. I go in the backyard. He goes, "Leave it there. Go inside." Okay. I got to see what the old man's doing, right? I mean, he's been a cop since I was this big, He's out there and he's stripping to his damn underwear. We had no fence in our backyard. It's wide open. Stripping to his underwear, shoes, socks, freaking everything except for his belt. And he throws everything, because he was plain clothes at the time, he throws everything into a box. He puts lighter fluid on it and he lights it on fire and burns all of his clothes in the backyard. My mom goes, "What in the hell are you doing?" So he comes in and he tells us. He goes to a scene. 2 dead people, had been there for 2 weeks. July, no AC on in the house.
That's body soup right there.
Oh, yeah. It had melted out of the bed that they were in, ran through the kitchen, and out the back door.
So you couldn't not step in it.
So when he walked up, he's like, "Why are all the windows black?" What was it, Camiel? What was it?
Flies.
It was flies. He looks and he goes, "What's up? Why are the windows all black?" He smacks the window and they go right back on the window. It was flies. Yeah. He said, "I have never in my entire life ever smelled something that horrible." They had CBAs or CSAs or whatever they're called.
SCBAs.
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 Self-contained.
There's
the fireman over here.
It's a self-contained breathing apparatus.
They had them goddamn things on and they're going in and man, it was, they said it was horrible. And I mean, they you couldn't load them in a body bag. There's nothing left of them. They threw the bones in the bag, you know what I mean, in the head. And so, but again, this is the shit that cops have to look at all the time, every day. It's horrible.
And maintain professionalism.
Maintain professionalism.
You know, and always be.
All right, so we have who's up?
You know what?
I think I would like a beer.
I would like a beer.
Hey, hold on.
Oh, sorry.
I think it's drum roll. That was probably really loud.
Probably sorry.
The microphone's right there. It is John's beer moment. All right, John.
All right, John. What do you got for us today?
What do you got for us, buddy?
I got beer.
Hey!
Oh, well, that was good.
Well, you passed that part of the test.
I will let you read it since you didn't read it, obviously.
It's the Dude.
Oh, the Dude.
Never tried the Dude.
No, I didn't. Okay.
Never tried.
I've never even heard of the
This
dude.
is a white Russian milk stout.
Ooh, a milk
I've
stout.
never had a
I
milk
love
stout.
milk stout.
This is brewed and canned by the Ormond Brewing Company.
Let's see if we can see this. Hold on, let me look at the camera here.
Again, I got this beer
Can't see it. Hang on.
at Kenny's Grocery in Orange City, located at 1792 and French Avenue.
Okay, hold on, guys. Let me turn this down a little bit so you guys can see what it looks like. If that's any better. It says the dude, and it's got bowling pins and
From the Big Lebowski.
Soup cans. Coffee cans.
white Russian milk stout. Ooh, I like this. Let me see how it tastes. From that face.
And, so my first impression, it's weird. I'm a retired cop, 20 years. I don't drink coffee. Never have. Hate coffee.
Milk stout have a little
And
bit
it
of that.
has that. It has that coffee
Okay.
smell
But
to
drink
it.
more. Drink more.
Oh, okay. No, I haven't tasted it. I just
Now, I'm a
smell
lager
it.
fan myself. I normally just drink straight lagers.
Ooh, son. This stout will really tie your day together with notes of roasted coffee.
Yeah.
Good idea. Yeah.
Mm.
Sweet cream, vanilla, and chocolate. You will be knocked completely out of your element. Jet black in color, 6.5 ABV. Damn, I like that. You know who would like this?
Your
My
mom?
wife. Good. All right, you got me. Asshole.
It actually is good though.
I
that
think
is
I
really
would
good.
really like it if it didn't taste like coffee.
See, here's my thing though.
I hate
Really?
coffee.
It doesn't taste like a beer, in my opinion.
Right. No, it
I mean, it's a very good beverage.
it's
I like
it's
it.
a cold coffee to me.
Right.
So do we judge it on the taste or as a beer?
Well,
No, the taste.
the taste, because it is
Come
a
on,
beer.
as a beer.
Okay.
It's already a
yeah.
beer, knucklehead.
Ugh.
You don't like it?
So that's a 10.
That makes
for
me more.
Camiel.
That makes me gag more than a soupy body.
Well, listen. Please don't judge all milk stouts by the coffee flavor of this one because they don't all taste like coffee
Okay.
at
But
all.
It's just a hint. It's not a.
Oh,
to me,
it's pretty strong.
I don't think
So,
it's very strong. I drink.
I would
coffee.
rather drink. So you know a trash truck when it backs up, beep beep beep, and then stops, and
And
that
the
liquid
sewer runs out?
and that liquid just slooshes over.
You got that from me on your
Come
podcast. Come
Come
on.
I would rather drink that than
No,
this.
no, you don't. But finish it.
But I don't realize it's sacrilege to not finish a beer. But
What are we like on a
uh,
scale of 10?
Dude,
Yes.
after you get 3 or 4
Oh,
sips in,
oh.
trust me, you'll
On
be
a,
fine.
on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably give this an 8, 8.5 as far as flavor.
Okay, I'm going to give it a strong freaking 8. Absolutely.
and I will give it a 0.25.
Again,
Wow.
and this is
So I threw off the average.
Wow.
Oh, I'm sorry. John. It is your beer
Dude.
moment.
It is the dude brewed and canned by Ormond Brewing Company, and you can get it at Kenny's Grocery.
Go
in
on,
Orange
go
City.
Ormond. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I like it.
and again, if you have any beers you want us to try or you want to recommend,
I would rather work traffic than drink that beer. I would rather write traffic accident reports all day long than drink that beer.
Oh, look who chimed in. I gotta say it. I'm going to go to everybody that chimed in, but Curtis chimed in and said, she melted.
See, why are we laughing at that? Why are we laughing at that?
was she a witch?
Oh, that's funny.
Was she a good witch or a bad
Yeah,
witch?
all he had to do is stand out front.
All right, so that's awesome.
Oh, all right.
That's awesome.
John's beer moment. Yay!
Yay! I love it. I will actually. You're not taking that one of his home.
Okay.
You can take yours home.
Okay.
I'm stealing his. That's
You can
good.
have
All
it.
right. That's good. Since you
Oh.
drank already 2 of mine.
Oh,
All right.
God.
So thank you, John, for the
Okay.
excellent beer moment. I do like that.
Thank you for the beer
Cheers.
moment.
Cheers.
All right. So next week we did a milk stout. So
give us some suggestions.
Next week, give us some suggestions.
And you actually have a challenge for the folks.
All right. Thank you. Way to hear.
Perfect. It's like well, who's the
Anyway,
setup.
All right.
So it's an assist. Yes, that's what I was going to say.
Scottie Pippen assist.
Yeah, exactly.
You're a little pale for Scottie.
Speaking of assist, have you done?
Jesus,
I know.
You were more than he did last week. Well, hey, this guy's on. Hey, what up?
How many times have you given CPR?
3 times.
Successful?
Twice when I was a cop. Once when I was a volunteer firefighter.
Successful?
2 out of 3, yes.
You?
I had given CPR probably close to.
Oh, you were a firefighter as a cop.
As a cop, I've given CPR as a cop probably 10 times.
We're not talking to your ex-girlfriend.
Dude, you suck at it. How many times you said
I'm 0-3.
Actually, 3.
3 out of 10?
Yeah.
That's
Come on, I was 2 for 2. Or 1 for 2.
You're batting.
No.
You're batting 300. You're batting 500. I am 0-3.
Well,
but I do have an assist. That's what I was going to.
That's because you get there and they're already cold and purple. You
No,
no CPR.
No, that's patrol. I'm patrol.
But
0-3.
The 3 that worked.
Sorry.
One was
Keep it short, John.
What was it? A drug overdose.
Okay.
And they gave Narcan. Boom. What?
Go ahead.
Another one. It was actually called in and went. We were there within about 2 minutes.
Right.
And the other one, again, lady husband had a heart attack, and it was like 2 days before my retirement.
Yeah.
And I'm still waiting for my life-saving award. Thanks a lot. I got nothing.
Yeah. I'm 0-3, but I do have an assist. So yeah.
All right. So here is our viewers challenge.
Okay.
Challenge to you viewers, all 27 of you. We have, and thank you very much. We have a viewers challenge, and that is going to be give us the name, and it's got to be a complete name so we can find it, okay? Or the ingredients or the recipe, exactly. Give us your worst beer you have ever drank, or your worst mixed alcoholic drink that you have ever drank. And you got to know the ingredients because we got to be able to replicate it or duplicate it or go buy it if it's a beer somewhere. And let us know what those are in your comments. We will, on our next week's show, we are going to try and find the ingredients and or duplicate the drink and or the beer. We will try it and we will give it John's Beer Moment rating. Okay, but we got to have those soon. So by the end of the weekend, we need those comments and what you think.
Or send it to the email.
Send it to the email. Good interlude there, which is retiredcopsrule@gmail.com. Retiredcopsrule
That would be us.
@gmail.com.
I picked this one. It's already been done.
And they wouldn't because it's good. Come on.
Well, the other thing is, please don't just like make some shit up and say
drink some,
put some actual kerosene with hot sauce and
it's got to be actual
tuna fish.
It's got to be actual edible stuff. Okay, I mean, come on.
We're not
real.
hazing at college.
Yeah, the tuna can drippings with bacon grease and
that would be better than this.
No, it would not. All right. Standing up.
Thank you.
As always. All right. So Ronnie's topic 2. Okay. So my topic 2 is how good of a shot is Camiel?
Not. All right. Let's move on.
Horseshit. Let me tell y'all something about how good a shot Camiel is. We used to have this training house out in the woods, and we would do sims with it, which are the paintball type cartridges. And we set up a simulation where he was the bad guy. He was going to run out of this house with the bag of loot. And, it was a bag of loot. And it was a robbery. And we responded
to Bugs Bunny cartoon, a bag of loot.
We responded to the
loot on it.
We responded to the alarm. and I actually think he wrote Luke on it. I actually do. And we had to respond, and you know, suspects coming out of the house, you know, it's supposed to be the bank, and you know, we were supposed to confront them, take them down, blah blah blah. So we had trainees out there with us. So stage is set, Camiel's ready, radios me on the radio. He says, I'm ready to go. I said, okay. So I dispatched the alarm. I'm a plane dispatcher. We drive up to this house in the middle of the woods, which is now burned down because some homeless bum burned it down. But anyway, roll up, get out of the car. We got cover, and Camiel comes bolting out the door. Now, well, okay, it was Camiel, so he wasn't bolting, but he was.
I run like a catcher.
He runs like he's caught.
Let me rephrase that. Camiel comes lumbering out of the door, okay?
That's really a nice thing to say about big people when they run.
At his best speed, it was rumbling, bumbling, stumbling. Anyway, so he comes running out. He comes running out.
I used to be in better shape.
With a bag of loot, and he's got a gun in his hand. So I challenge him. My rookie challenges him. Now I am pinned up behind a wall, okay? The only thing you can see of me is maybe this much of my shoulder, maybe this eye, okay? And my gun, because I mean, I am literally everything behind the wall, all right?
It's a big wall.
Now, it was the side of a house. Asshole.
Needed to be.
Asshole. So, Camiel's running out, and I challenge him, you know, freeze, drop the gun, let me see your hands, let me see your hands. On the run, Camiel spins and fires and puts one right in my freaking hand. I said, okay, that's a fluke. He fires again, puts one right in my freaking shoulder, okay, on the run. Now, let me give you a little background on Camiel.
Just accident.
Hold on. Was it the U.S. or Florida state champion? Come on, which one was it?
Well, it depends. It was both.
Okay, there you go. Pistol champion as a cadet. Okay, yeah, as a police. Explorer.
Yeah.
Pistol champion. All right, and I knew that this guy could shoot. And I'm telling you, when I say shoot, go ahead, John. Tell him about the snake.
So anyway, he holds a concealed weapons class. I'm not. You still doing that?
No, not right now.
Okay.
Camo break.
A field, and there was a couple of little ponds and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, I see a water moccasin. That was a small water moccasin. It's only about this big, maybe like an inch in diameter. We're about 20 feet away from it. Okay, Camiel takes out his 9mm, boom, blows the head off in the water. The thing is swimming, and he hits it.
All luck, just all luck, man.
Yeah, he hits it. So anyway, you don't ever want to get in a freaking pistol fight with freaking Camiel. I'm telling you right now. So anyway, I learned my lesson the hard way. And listen,
she said, oh,
hey!
For those of you that if this has got a little lag in it, a little latency, I thought I had fixed the problem. I am working on getting a little better internet for the show, and I'm going to get a mesh wireless unit put right in here so we don't have any latency. I hope that's not happening, but it appears from the messages I'm getting that we may be, and I apologize very much for that. I'm sorry. We're trying the best we can with the equipment
it's a work in progress.
It is.
So 3 retired cops sitting at a bar. What do you expect?
Exactly.
And you guys.
Yes.
All right. So we have 5 minutes. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to go into the other 2 topics. Please save your topics, guys.
Gotcha.
I do want to go into some of the questions and answers.
Oh, yeah.
For some of the guys and gals that have popped on here.
Yeah.
Let me do shout outs first real quick. I want to give a shout out to Tyler. To John Labrie. I'm going to go ahead and do last names since they're popping in there.
Or first names.
Tyler Gregory. No, I mean both.
Oh, gotcha.
Jody.
Yay!
To Brian. He's still on the job, so I'm not going to use his last name. Thanks, buddy. He says, what's up, LT and PFC Kelly? Jody says, hello. Tyler says, I'm sure you ate the Frosty off your uniform. Thanks. Appreciate that. When we talk about the stuff, Jody says, hence bag of bones. When we talk about putting the bags in there, yeah.
Bag of bones.
Bag of
Brian says, what type of retired cop doesn't like coffee? All right, so there were some actual questions in here, but let me get through the names real fast. All right, that's all I see for some reason. I know there were more comments than this. I don't know why they're not showing up.
What did you do?
I probably screwed something up.
It's always admin. Always admin. Screwing it up.
Okay. Oh, here it is. From John. What's your opinion on officers being required to get vaccinated? My opinion is, I think it's bullshit. I think that you should have the option to choose that or not. And if you don't want to get vaccinated and you end up getting COVID, well, then shame on you. Whatever, the department should be liable for your workman's comp if they can prove that you got it on the job, and they shouldn't be. Well, I don't think they should be liable.
Yeah, but now the problem is, even if you're vaccinated, you're still going to get COVID.
You still could.
Well, they say you could.
I know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, how is that different than saying you may not use any tobacco products whatsoever?
Because tobacco products are not unapproved by the what am I trying to think of? The medical
CDC or the FDA.
The FDA.
Okay.
Unapproved by the FDA as safe, and I'm vaccinated.
Right.
Let me put it out there.
I got vaccinated too.
fully
But
vaccinated.
as an officer, aren't you an at-will? I mean, it's like saying, okay,
You're
no
I'm not saying
longer.
the department can't let them go if they don't want to get vaccinated. All I'm saying is, it's their choice.
Right.
So if the department says you absolutely have to, if you don't want to, I guess you can go work for somewhere else. I mean,
Well, that's
But my
forcing.
feeling is, if you choose not to get vaccinated, you have to suffer the consequences, and you get none of the protection from COVID.
and none of the protection under workman's comp.
Right.
You're not protected under
You chose not to.
for COVID. If you didn't get vaccinated and you get COVID, whether it was off duty, on duty, whatever, sorry, it's all on you. And I don't know what else to do. I mean, other than say, if you don't get vaccinated, you're gone.
Can an agency require you to live within a certain amount of distance to the agency? Yes.
Yes.
The answer is yes, they can. So an agency can require pretty much anything of their officers.
So they can to an extent, but now you're also getting into privacy laws and HIPAA violations and things like that.
Now I don't think an agency can say you need to tell us what your medical is, because that's a HIPAA law.
Yeah,
But if I'm hiring an officer,
Yeah, but they require them to go through the whole medical gamut. They don't know if they got COVID or not.
that's upon being hired. That's a
Right.
different thing.
you're talking current.
Pre-hire.
Right.
Current officers.
All right, let's not go into situations.
Okay, I'm
We got to
sorry.
move on.
Okay, what's another question?
Should they be required to be vaccinated or not?
I don't think they should require them, but I think they can.
Okay.
I don't think they should, and constitutionally, I don't think they can.
Okay. All right. So some more comment. Donna, you're retired. Donna Kiska, one of my absolute favorite people from the sheriff's office that we used to work with. I miss you, kiddo. Love you to death. I'm glad you're watching the show. Thank you. She said, sorry, I missed the Sergeant Frosty one, because he was out there with a bunch of our stuff. Wayne Roberts, retired from an agency up there by that. Wayne, thanks for chiming in, buddy. He says, hello, guys. Vicky, one of the best dispatchers that we absolutely ever had in our
Still waiting
agency.
on that tag, though, Vicky.
She said when we were talking about us going through what we go through, she said it's got to be horrible. Mike Gregory pops in. He says, good point. So underpaid and underappreciated. When we were talking about, what we go through, this and that. Curtis said she's melted. Thanks, Curtis, for tuning in. There's Vicky again. He said it does linger on you guys and it ain't pretty. Caitlin popped in and said, ladle them into a body bag.
Ladle.
Thank you, Caitlin. I can understand that.
Oh,
Perfect.
Now, a new piece of equipment that you have to carry with you at all times.
The little ladle holster right there. Wait, does that go on? Which side would that go? I don't know. That's awesome.
Let's see who
So
else.
smart.
Oh, Stephen popped in. Stephen Gregory's popped in, said cheers. Made it in at the end. Let's see.
You're supposed to start at 7, Stephen.
Curtis, he gets off late. Curtis says, "No, John.
That's what she said.
Not kissing them doesn't count for CPR." Let's see. Oh my goodness, here's an old buddy of mine, friend of mine from high school. Wow.
Jehoshaphat.
Sandra, thank you so much for popping in.
I thought he was going to say Susan B. Anthony.
She said, "Oh, shut up." She says, "Hey, Ronnie, have fun." Stephen posted our email. Thank you. Liz Williams, tuning in from Canada. Thank you for
We are
your
now an
service.
international sensation.
Hey!
Oh, here we go. Dustin pops in, international sensation. There you go. Dustin pops in, says, "Need to hire IT help who accepts beer as payment." You're hired.
You're hired, Dustin.
You have no idea the work hours now.
All right. Vicky made a couple more comments. Let's see. Oh my gosh, who is that? Theodopoulos Brimar.
Oh, Ted Bremer. He's retired from Jersey.
Retired from Jersey. I always, John K. would make it big time. Welcome to Bollywood.
Hey,
All
Bollywood.
right,
That's
all
awesome.
right.
How's
Hey.
the HOA and FLA there, Ted?
So let me ask you
All right,
this.
here's another comment. Go ahead.
Well, we were talking about things. So Florida, put you as a police chief. Let's say Florida passes recreational cannabis. You allow your officers to smoke off duty?
It's legal?
Yeah, recreationally in Florida,
As in Colorado.
like
Absolutely.
Washington.
Absolutely. Same as having a beer.
Can you say no as an officer, as a police chief?
Absolutely not. You can't.
How is
Not
it
if
any
it's legal.
How is it any different than cigarettes? You
It's-
can.
It's
Oh,
not.
No. What I'm saying is, you can tell your officers not to smoke cigarettes.
You can?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Oh, well, screw that.
One of the local agencies, well, the entire city. But
I
that's
wouldn't be
part-
working there.
That's part of the healthcare.
That's a
plan.
health. Yeah, it brings down the
So
healthcare
just say I don't want
costs.
to be on your healthcare plan then. See you
Nope.
later.
I don't
No,
need
on their
cigarettes.
healthcare plan.
But okay, so let's
In
talk.
order to
Let's
be
bring it down
hired.
to the
But you
basic.
know what? You
Wait,
knew
wait.
that going in. Before
Right.
you got hired, they said
And that is one of the things.
And if they make
New hire.
it legal for marijuana, they're going to include that in there too.
So let me ask you this: as a police chief, you're a police chief. Bang, January 1, 2022. Recreational marijuana is legal in Florida. Do you allow your officers to smoke
yes.
off duty? Obviously,
Yes.
even though it stays in their system. How long does it stay? How long does cannabis stay in the system?
Yeah, but it
Several
only
days,
stays
right?
in there because
Yeah, but it's only
So he's off Sunday.
I can find it in your hair
Hold on a
2
second.
months later.
Hold on. Let me. So he's off Sunday. Monday afternoon, he's in a car crash. And he's not critically injured.
They can tell the rate.
Where do you send him?
They can tell the amount.
Where do you send him though? You go get him the blood test.
Well, you have to go do the drug test.
The drug
They
test
can
that shows
still-
positive for
But
cannabis.
they can tell the amount of THC in the blood.
Okay,
He just like a breathalyzer.
he smoked a crap ton on Sunday.
Okay. If he was still under the influence or felt that he was under the influence, meaning that it was messing with his normal faculties, his ass shouldn't have come to work.
Is there a
Just like drinking too much of this and coming to work.
Is there a? Because I don't know how Colorado or Washington does it. What for
there's your
homework
news
assignment?
report for next week.
So how do they for a weed UI right? Weeding under the influence.
Weeding. Oh my God.
So how do they? Is there a? I mean, obviously you have to do a blood test. You need a search warrant for that now. It's a whole nother story.
Liz, I cannot describe a code bear.
Oh my God!
We may do that, but we are way past time, so we got to get off of here.
We
Thanks
may
for
tell a
popping
story
in.
about Code Bear sometime. That's not really with law enforcement, though.
Cigarettes are not classified as a narcotic by the DEA. Very true.
But
Good point.
it still is limited by what you said, insurance.
They call me Hollywood because I used to do all the interviews and stuff when we were doing traffic. Thanks for the comment, Stephen. All right, we got to get out of here. Please post any more questions that you have. We do. Go back. We read all of them. on our Facebook page. So please go on our Facebook page, like the page. Don't forget, we are going to fix this latency issue if it is having a problem on YouTube. Please like and subscribe to that channel on YouTube.
And tell your friends and family to like and subscribe.
Notification bell.
And hit that little notification bell. If you don't know how to do it, send us an email. I will walk you through instructions. I'll give you a YouTube video on how to do it.
I don't have a YouTube video to see how to open a YouTube
Exactly.
video.
So thank you very much. We are past our time. We really appreciate everyone joining us tonight. And
I think I'll have another.
All right.
I think we'll have another.
And be safe out there.
Be safe out there, guys. Thank you.
All right.
We could be like in the 70s.